referee had told me on the phone he may use a couple other guys in the face-off circle.
Yeah, you know, whenever you get that kind of a matchup, you always want to kind of look at it and see. I think you'll see Cleary get a chance to battle Kehoe here early and see how it all unfolds.
We'll take a look at our officials. It's Brian Kalendra and Engin Suvak.
Yeah, two guys have been around a long time. They do a really good job. And the rain has kind of died down for us here, Mike. It's actually a pleasant afternoon.
Mepham, Syosset Senior Day. Here we go.
Kehoe against Cleary.
Yeah, and you see Cleary goes early. You know, I think he saw the scouting report that you had that, you know, Kehoe is at 73% and tried to steal one early.
Lubrano in the middle of the field gives it off on the near side. Good dish inside and a goal. That is Steven Zweigbaum.
Yeah, great job here by James Schmidt getting down the alley, playing with his head up. And Zweigbaum just floats to the back pipe. You know, we didn't note it in the opening, but one of the best defenders for Syosset, Will Cawley, is not playing today. And I think early on you're going to see them struggle. He does a lot of the communication on that defense.
Same two in the face-off circle. Mepham up 1-0. Just underway here from Syosset. And this time it's Cleary who comes away with it for Syosset. There's a quick shot and there's a save.
Great save there by Ciro. That first one is so important. And you can see Waxer, the quick release. It looked like he had nothing going there. Ciro, though, sees that shot. Really, really good job. This is an area where Mepham has to be really good at. They got to clear the ball in the middle of the field. Syosset likes to press out, 10-man ride. You got to be tough. You got to find open men, and you got to run it out.
Mepham looking to take a little time on this possession.
Yeah, you get a look at Cam Lebrano, good-sized midi here. Mepham won't go quite as deep as Syosset, but this first midi line with Heller, Lebrano, and Schmidt, very, very good.
30 on the shot clock. Ball comes near side. It skips past the stick, and Syosset takes over.
Yeah, Syosset's high-pressure defense. You see it right there. They don't want to give any free passes, no easy looks. And Mepham there just unfortunately threw it away.
Syosset on offense for the second time in this game. Disquay on the far side.
Yeah, you may recognize the name, Daniel Disquay, older brother David, an All-American here last year. First time we're seeing Syosset set offense.
Ostrager now goes to work.
Yeah, Ostrager with the feed right there. Off of Mepham sticks, Syosset's going to retain possession. And Ostrager is the young man I talked about in the opening, moves from defense to offense. They love his athleticism, feel like they can win some matchups here with the senior.
Ostrager across the field to Turner. Turner thought about turning and firing, instead gives it off behind the cage to Rosenfeld. Rosenfeld stuffs it in.
Great job right there by Ryan Rosenfeld. They go to the invert. He's got a short stick. He's played a lot of attack here at Syosset. Roll him out of the midi, roll him out of the box as a midi today. He gets a short stick behind the cage, and he's able to just make a quick move and get a dunk.
So good offensive possession that time for Syosset. They've just tied it at 1 goal apiece. 9:30 left in the first quarter of play. As Tom mentions, the weather's starting to clear up just a little bit. Loose ball at midfield. Mepham is after it. Ball still loose at the 35. And finally, Syosset comes away with it.
Yeah, nice job there by Cleary, staying with it. Keogh actually won the clamp on that. Syosset did a good job not allowing him to pick it up, and then in that loose ball scrum, they come out with it.
Now Waxer on the far sideline gives it off up top to Turner. Comes this side to Ostrager.
Yeah, second possession here. They're going right back to Ostrager to initiate, and you see him go right to the cage.
His shot goes wide.
Nick Gampero there from Mepham on the defense. Good athlete there in the middle of the field for Mepham. No backup for Syosset, so it's going to be Mepham ball.
Comes this side to Sorrentino, one of the senior defensemen. Nice clear up ahead.
Good job by Mepham there on the clear, nice and relaxed, find the open man. Now you're able to get your first middies back out there. We haven't talked about Owen Heller just yet. You saw him with the ball. He's getting the pole from Syosset, but he's an excellent player. We'll hear from him throughout this game.
Lubrano's shot goes high over the post.
Both of these teams a little slow to slide on certain matchups. It seems like they're looking at certain matchups and saying, we think we can win and we're not going to slide. Lubrano got really close to a goal right there.
Comes up top to Lubrano. Backs up with possession. Now comes forward. Good look in front, but pass not able to be completed. Back the other way is Syosset with Turner.
Yeah, Nick Turner, good job helping out inside on defense. Picks off that pass, gives Syosset another possession.
Turner headed to Geneseo next year in Western New York.
Nick's been a really good player here the last 3 years, really grown up. He's a captain, going on to play college lacrosse. So this is how they scored their first goal, Mike. They inverted Rosenfeld off the short stick. Mepham, better job there, sliding and switching.
Rosenfeld is doubled. They take it away from him.
Yeah, great stick check there on the ball. Now Mepham's got to get it up and get it out. Pick up a ground ball. Look at the ride there by Syosset.
Rosenfeld gets it back, but he loses it. Ground ball by Jeremy Mallon.
Got a failure to advance on Syosset. They'd gained possession outside the box, so they had to get it into the box. They don't, and they turn it over.
Romanello runs on. Mepham with the ball. Comes near side to Lubrano. Cameron Lubrano. Down to 6 minutes left. Tied at 1 in the early going. Both teams trying to find their footing here, Tom.
Yeah, a little sloppy early. Both teams. Now we got numbers here for Syosset. 5-on-4 break.
There's a save.
Well, the ball movement was great. You had a 5-on-4. You get it to the backside. It goes right to the lefty attackman there, Sanchez. Just not able to finish. And here we go. Mepham back the other way.
Zero, the Mepham goalie, was at Kellenberg for a year before transferring back to Mepham.
Yeah, and Mepham's happy to have him. He's got 3 saves here early. You see what kind of quickness he has in the cage. He's going to be tested here all day.
Lubrano trying to shake Ostrager.
Yeah, picking up the ball here is O'Rourke, the sophomore lefty. I like this kid's game. He's very crafty. He's got the senior Cole Casanova on him. Good athlete out there for Syosset.
Casanova, of course, the basketball player here at Syosset as well. I had a chance to take a look at him on the court. There's a shot and there's a score.
Yeah, that's Alessandro Walaitis.
Lightus, their leading scorer, came in with 30 on the year, Tom.
Yeah, listen, there's not a lot of shake here. You look at Walaitis, he looks like a running back, and that's kind of how he plays. He's one of those downhill runners. He took a straight path right at his defender, ran through a stick check, and dunked that ball.
Lightus, his first goal of the game. And it is Mepham on top of Syosset, 2-1. 4:40 left. Ball's loose at the 40. Who wants it? Mepham does.
Nice job.
Nick Camparo, number 2, came up with that ground ball for that one. They got possession with 4:18 to go in the first quarter, up 2-1.
Nice job by Nick Camparo right there. The wing, mentioned him earlier, really good athlete. Gets in the middle of that pile, picks it up.
Lubrano just gets himself on and gets possession. Schmidt is also in there at attack for Mepham. Lubrano with the shot, that goes wide.
Yeah, you can see Heller is being locked right now by a short stick. He's going to go pick it up. Heller is a midi headed to UMass. Really good player here, good size, a tremendous shot. You can see Syosset's going to go early here. They're not going to let him get too many shots off here early.
No angle at all on that shot.
Heller draws a flag. O'Rourke with a great one more. Nice save by Weisenfeld. So good ball movement there. Starts with Heller getting the flag, and then a cross crease pass. Almost got an N1. So we got a 1 minute slash. We'll see the Mepham man up unit.
1 minute.
Penalty goes on Tisquay, the sophomore.
Up for a minute with 3:33 to go in the opening quarter.
Mepham's man up. You got Walaitis on one side, the lefty, Heller on the other side, the righty. They're the two big shooters. They'll get most of the attention. O'Rourke up top, the young sophomore, is really slick. Very good passer. They put him right in the middle there to kind of run this man up.
Down to 3:15 in the first. Mepham trying to extend this 2-1 lead. O'Rourke thought about it. Now backs out. Up top, there's the shot, there's the save.
Yeah, you see Heller there does a good job of rolling out of that stick check, getting that shot off.
20 seconds left to the man up.
Syosset's man down defense right now, doing a nice job.
Around the perimeter, looking for just the right shot here. O'Rourke is loose, he shot, save, Weisenfeld.
Yeah, little out of O'Rourke's range right there. Weisenfeld read that one all the way. Great man down defense by Syosset, killing off the minute penalty.
20 to go in the opening quarter.
Throwaway there for Syosset.
Ball going back over to Mepham with 2:15 left in the opening quarter. They lead 2-1 here on the road at Syosset. Back end of a back-to-back for them.
Yeah, right now you don't see any tired legs. I think they're excited to be here, and they've done a really nice job early in this game handling this ride. Let's see what they do here. Nice job.
2 minutes left as they bring it into the offensive zone.
Under 2 minutes to go in the quarter.
If you're Mepham, this is a really good start. You want to take a nice long possession here. If you could come out of the first quarter with the lead, you'd be really, really happy. Trying to get Walaitis the ball here as he's got a short stick on him.
Nate Green, the offensive midi in there as well for Mepham. Wolitis has Friedman on him.
Ball's in play.
Ball hits the officials and is scooped up by Mepham.
Yeah, Brian Kalenda's tough.
As a shot save, Weisenfeld.
Yeah, pretty good offense right there from Mepham moving the ball around, and that's the guy you want to shoot. Weisenfeld is seeing the ball well.
In the first quarter.
1 minute to go in the quarter. Let's see if Syosset can even it up on this trip.
If you're Syosset, you want to settle down here, get fresh middies on, and get a good look at a last shot of the quarter. The shot clock is turned off, so there's no rush. You got 45 seconds. My guess is the Syosset coaches will want them to go somewhere around the 20-second mark.
Beekman with possession as he backs up to the 40-yard line, and now he'll go to work.
Yeah, little two-man with Waxer trying to get Waxer a short stick. Good look by Waxer.
Beekman scores!
Really nice job by Cole Beekman there. He sets the pick. Every time you set a pick, you got to roll, and that's exactly what he does. And give credit to Brody Waxer. There's always a lot of attention when he gets the ball. Syosset uses that to their advantage. Waxer, unselfish, gets the ball to Beekman for the score.
Cleary again working against Kehoe.
That didn't work, Dave.
Ball's loose. Mepham getting to a lot of these ground balls, Tom.
Yep. Yeah, we got a wild sequence here in the middle of the field, and time's going to run out.
That's the end of the first quarter. Our score after 1 quarter of play, we are tied at 2. We're going to stay right here. And as we're doing that, let's take a look at the standings in the Power Conference, also Conference 2 in Nassau.
Well, you got Garden City on top of the Power Conference having another outstanding year, 13-2 overall, 7-0 in the conference, and some of the usual suspects up top: Manhasset, Southside, Pequaport, Wantagh, Farmingdale, Syosset, right? So a lot of powerhouse programs there. And then in Conference 2, Mepham with a 6-2 record, having a really good year there. Lynbrook on top of the conference, but Mepham has really played well under Coach Walsh, and a team that's headed to the playoffs and excited. You could tell, right? A lot of young guys out there for Mepham, mixed in with a few of these seniors, but the Mepham program is a program on the rise.
So we've had 4 different goals from 4 different guys. It was Weigbaum, it was Rosenfeld, and then for Mepham it was Wolitis with the second goal, and then Beekman tied it up for Syosset in the closing stages of that first period.
Yeah, trading goals in the first quarter, right? Mepham with Zweigbaum, nice feed there from Schmidt, and then Rosenfeld answers with the ISO from behind on the invert and dunks, and then it was Wolitis on the ISO off the wing, just powering his way to the cage, and Beekman off the two-man game with Waxer, nice pass from Waxer. So if you're Mepham, I think you're pretty satisfied with a 2-2, first quarter. Probably not thrilled with the fact that you gave him one with 23 seconds left. You've also done a nice job of neutralizing Kehoe at the face-off X. And if you're Syosset, you just want to kind of clean it up a little bit. Too many unforced errors in the middle of the field.
Syosset in the home white is going to move left to right here in the second. Mepham in the road. Would you call that purple?
I think it's a maroon. Yeah.
Maroon, yes. I'm bad with shades.
Yeah, I think it's a maroon. What do I know?
Cleary working against Kehoe, and Kehoe wins the draw.
Nice job by Kehoe right there. Helps when you're 6'2", 6'3", whatever Keogh is there. He's a big guy.
Control for Mepham.
You see Keogh using a different exit that time. Goes back with it. Clean exit. Nice job by O'Connell, the LSM. And Mepham has the first possession.
Lubrano with possession. Good dish. And a save. Weisenfeld.
Nice ground ball by Waxer. Wasn't an over and back because it hit the pipe. Great.
It's a rocket ship shot, but that is wide.
Yeah, great cut by Accardo. That's Accardo's game right there. He loves getting inside.
Shot by Brody Waxer. He outside of the net.
So we got a push on Mepham.
Push foul there against Mepham.
Waxer's going to pick it up, but we got a glimpse of Waxer's athleticism there, tracking down that ground ball, and then a good look inside to Accardo. This is a good matchup. Jack Weber on the ball, a Penn State commit. Brody Waxer, the Michigan commit. These guys have battled before. This is a good one.
Waxer just a junior, but already committed to play some Big Ten lacrosse. There's a shot by Turner. He scores.
Yeah, Nick Turner showing the strength on senior day. The senior powers his way to the cage. Does a great job of keeping his stick, what we call in the back pocket, just using that shoulder as a shield, and just kind of drives his way to the cage for Syosset's first lead, 3-2.
Turner came into the game with 20 goals, 6 assists on the season.
Yeah, Turner's one of those guys. He does a lot. He plays defense. He's on wings. Just a really good overall player. Got a hold there on Cleary off the face-off.
So Keogh is going to take possession for Mepham. He's on the far sideline. Doubled, has to give it off.
Mepham's going to roll out there first. Middies again. You got Walitis with the ball. Lebrano coming on late here. It has rained a lot today, as we know. You see a little slipperiness there. Nice look by Walitis. Get a good look at his release. Able to turn the corner lefty and let it rip.
Walitis' shot goes wide, but Mepham keeps.
Heller, nice move. Good look.
O'Rourke looking inside. A pass skips away.
Yeah, O'Rourke, a little gun shy right there, Mike. I would have liked to see him take another crow hop and let it rip. He's a very unselfish kid. He's got great vision, right? And I think he might have just thought too much about that one.
23 goals, 20 assists on the season, so.
Yeah, I told Coach Walsh, I watched him play a few times. I really like his game. I think O'Rourke's going to be a really good player here for a long time.
What a save by Ciro.
Well, you want to talk about athleticism, that save by Ciro was fantastic. Campano right here. And this is where Syosset does such a good job riding hard. Waxer over to Accardo. Ostrager just couldn't finish. Sanchez just off the mark.
We approach 9 minutes to go.
Waxer is going to bring it back into play.
Yeah, this is that matchup. Waxer and Weber. Waxer gets top side.
That shot bounced just a little bit early, but Syosset keeps.
Syosset patient here. They like to match up with Turner.
25 seconds to shoot. Turner turns and fires. That shot got deflected.
Yeah, just a late trail check there by Mepham.
Waxer will bring it in with 20 seconds left to shoot.
21 on the shot clock.
Yeah, I like this. This is fun. You got Weber and Waxer, two guys battling.
That shot goes high, but once again, Syosset's going to keep.
Yeah, plenty of time on the shot clock. 16 seconds, you still get a chance to run your sets. Going to pick it up with Rosenfeld. They like this invert with Rosenfeld. He scored on it once already.
Strager up top. He shoots. Bounce shot.
You see Ciro out of the cage there. No backup on the Ostrager shot. And Ciro, you're showing a lot of athleticism here early, Mike.
8:15 to go in the half. Down one.
And you see this 10-man ride here.
Now Mepham into the zone. We've got an offsides, and that's going to send it back over to Syosset.
Yeah, these quick restarts are dangerous. Turner takes off. They got numbers here if they recognize it. Turner's going to pull it back out.
Good move by him. Stops and waits for help. Far side, it goes to Beekman. Waits for Azevedo to get on. Beekman, pick from Waxer. Shot at the score.
Yeah, Waxer to Accardo, and Accardo, I think, got a deflection there off that shot. Looked like it might have hit off of a Mepham defender. It doesn't matter how it goes in, Mike, as long as it goes in. So that was Accardo from Waxer.
7:23 to go in the half.
Right now, Mepham has to settle down in that clear. It's hurt him a bunch of times. Syosset is a tough riding team.
Biggest lead of the game for either team. 4-2 now, Syosset on top. Kehoe with another face-off win. Knocked down from behind, ball's loose. Still loose at midfield.
Nice ground ball right there by Weber. So failure to advance on Mepham. Another turnover in the clearing game.
It's hurt them the last two times they had the ball. Now it's Antonacci who's in there for Syosset.
Antonacci, a sophomore, getting a lot of playing time as the season has progressed. Good look right there.
Trying to find Acevedo, he can't control.
Nice
Back
ground
the
ball
other way.
right there by O'Connell. And that's where Mepham has struggled right there. Just settling the ball and clearing it cleanly.
Mallon with possession on the far side, and we've got a timeout.
Syosset calls timeout. 6:23 to go in the half.
So, Tom, we talked about the weather at the outset. We didn't talk really about how it would or how it might affect either team. Which team do you think is going to be more affected if it stays like this, or if the weather deteriorates over the next hour or so?
Well, it obviously is going to affect both teams with their sticks and things like that. But the team that is trailing, that needs to play a little bit faster and cleaner, is the team that's going to really deal with it a little bit more. Right now the game has changed with Syosset's ride and Mepham's struggle in the clearing game. Mepham's done a nice job. Ciro has made some saves. They've come up with ground balls. It's this middle of the field, getting the ball into the box where they're struggling. They're young on the attacks. Wiegbaum, O'Rourke, younger guys, sophomores. These guys have to get really low on the field, low in the box, create a little bit more space. When you have older attackmen who can kind of run and come and get the ball and settle you, it helps. This is how guys grow up, though. Guys like O'Rourke and Wiegbaum are going to grow up right in front of us if Mepham is going to, make a game of this. And if you're Syosset, you love what you see. You want this game to be ugly in the middle of the field. You play a few more guys. You have a few more athletes in the middle of the field, and you can see them. They're not conceding anything, and that's exactly the style that they want to play.
Game was 2-2 after 1 quarter of play. Now Syosset has reeled off 3 in a row. It was actually Mepham up 2-1 at one point in time, 2-2 at the end of the first. Now Syosset scored twice here in the second. 6:23 left before halftime. Syosset back on the attack. Comes near side. Ostrager. Turner on the far side to Waxer. Waxer looking for space. Instead dishes inside. Nice look inside for Rosenfield, but he couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, right out of the timeout, run a little pick play for Waxer, trying to get his hands free. And we see Birch in there. Nice move by Accardo.
Good ball movement inside, but we've got a whistle before that shot gets off. They're going to send that ball back over to the Pirates.
Yeah, we had an in the crease there on Accardo after his shot, and now it's the clear for Mepham.
Here's a turnover. Syosset back with possession. Flag down. Here's a shot. That goes wide.
Gio Accardo.
Yeah, it'll be our first look at the Syosset man up. Just an unfortunate drop there in the middle of the field, and Syosset turns those mistakes immediately into offense, Mike, very quickly changing the field. We see Engin Suvak there give us the call. We got a 1-minute slash.
Oh, Mandela picks up the 1-minute slash. Man up.
So it's going to be a 1-minute penalty.
So the Syosset man up, you obviously have Waxer as the big shooter. And when Waxer gets a lot of attention, you see Accardo. Yep. Thank you, Accardo.
Gio Accardo.
That's a second in a row for Gio.
I didn't get a chance to finish, but I was going to say Accardo does a great job of recognizing when teams are trying to overplay. And it didn't take all of about 5 seconds right there. Gio Accardo, an excellent step-down shooter, makes it 5-2.
So Mepham playing them to a standstill in the first, but now Syosset has reeled off 4 in a row to take a 5-2 lead. We are down to 5.5 left to go before halftime. Cleary wins the face-off for the break for Syosset.
He comes up with the draw.
Yeah, and that's a big win right now for Syosset because they are rolling. Here comes Waxer.
Waxer scores. Didn't wait, didn't hesitate.
Brody Waxer.
Yeah, we mentioned in the opening how dangerous he is in the open field with his speed and size, and you called it. He didn't hesitate at all. He felt that pressure as he went out to receive the ball from Cleary and realized, I got a runway here that I can go down, and that's exactly what he did.
All 4 goals in this quarter have been by Syosset. They are now up 6-2, 5:14 left before halftime. Mepham needs to stem the tide here.
Yeah, big face-off for Keogh right here. Kind of stop the bleeding.
Both players trying to get low. Kehoe takes it away. Here's a shot. There's a save. Weisenfeld.
Gio with a clean draw. Josh Weisenfeld.
Yeah, I mean, Mepham did everything right there except the finish, right?
Syosset the other way, under 5 minutes to go in the half.
Weisenfeld 5 saves here in the first half. Ball sails out of bounds, and it's going to go back over to Mepham.
Jack Weber there on the clear. I feel like we have not seen Mepham on offense here in a long time in this second quarter.
Yeah, they turned it over quickly their last couple possessions. Let's see if they can get couple shots off here, or at least a shot. Schmidt on the far side now goes behind the cage. Schmidt, nice dish inside.
Yeah, O'Rourke with a good shot, hits off the pipe, and that's what I was talking about before. I love the fact that he pulled the trigger there. This is Wallitis. This is a spot that he likes, able to use that body. Mallon playing him much better this time around.
4:10 to go in the half.
Wallitis turns and fires.
Great save.
Save, Weisenfeld. Half a dozen.
Great save by Weisenfeld there. Wallitis kind of muscled his way to the front of the cage. Good clear.
Under 4 to go in the half.
Daniel Disqui right there. Nice job. And Syosset is really playing clean now. You know, a little sloppy early. Maybe it was the rain and the wet sticks, but this has been really good and really clean in this second quarter.
And also some of the stuff at senior day can distract you just a little bit. You know, your folks and all your families in the stands.
Absolutely, right? It's a little bit of a festive atmosphere. You forget sometimes you got to play, right? You got to play lacrosse. And that is a laser from Waxer.
Waxer, the last 2 in a row.
Finds the back of the net. 3:16 to go in the half.
Nice job there by Syosset, getting Waxer coming off a pick with his hands free. Puts it to the back pipe. We got a timeout by Mepham. I think Coach Walsh just wants to settle his team down.
I want to talk about how important I want you to talk, Tom, about how important it is to get the guys in the right roles and get that momentum on your side going into the playoffs, which start on the 22nd for the big schools.
Yeah, in reality, this is a non-league game, right? It has no implications to the playoff race. So this is about preparing for the playoffs. This is about getting your team ready. And I'm sure that's some of the things that Coach Walsh is talking about right now, right? This isn't about the scoreboard. This is about how do we react? How do we come out of a timeout, right? You know, we want to make sure that our spacing is better on the clear, and offensively we got to have a little bit more balance and maybe a little bit more better decision making and things like that. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, this game doesn't mean a whole lot, right? What it is a prep for both teams. And both of these coaches are taking that to get themselves ready for the playoffs. So if you're Mepham, you're going to say, hey, guys, we know we can play with them. It was 2-2 after the first quarter. Let's settle down. We got to pick up some ground balls. We got to clear the ball. And if you're Syosset, you're saying, hey, look what happens when we clean it up. We threw the ball around in the first quarter. Now you play clean, and look what this offense can do, which is outscore them, 4 or 5 goals here in the second quarter. So, I think a good timeout by Coach Walsh, settle his troops, and if you're Syosset, it's don't let them take the momentum.
That was a Mepham timeout.
Mepham once led this game 2-1, but Syosset, now with half a dozen in a row, is on top 7-2. 3 minutes left to go before halftime. Nice movement inside, but couldn't get the shot uncorked. O'Rourke.
Yeah, good clear there by Keogh, getting down the field. They had some numbers. Wallitis went to O'Rourke, and Syosset with another takeaway. And that's one of the problems right now for Mepham is that they're playing early offense, and it's there. They're just not converting and playing clean enough to make it count. And then on the other end, it gets the ball right back to Syosset, who's rolling out.
So Syosset on this trip will try to take a little shot clock down to 30 right now.
Yeah, going with their second middies here, Acevedo, Beekman, Antonacci.
Dish inside and a score. Noah Birch into the act.
Yeah, really good look from Ricardo at X and the cut by Birch. Really nice job by Birch, the lefty. And we knew Syosset would play both lefties, Sanchez and Birch. Sanchez early and Birch right there getting his opportunity and making the most of it.
Okay, you're clear, Chris. You're clear.
2:16 left in the half. Syosset now starting to open up a big lead. It's Genovese who scoops it up for Mepham.
Nice job right there by Genovese getting the ground ball, and then he's getting the ball to Heller. Mepham here back with their first middies here. Lebrano. You see Syosset just pressing out. They're really trying to force the issue here with Mepham, making them play a little bit faster than they want.
Minute 40 left in the half. 35 on the shot clock. Shot. Save Weisenfeld.
Weisenfeld with the save, and it looks like Weisenfeld with the clear. They got numbers. You got 5 on 4.
Shot came from Romanello, long pole.
James Romanello.
James Romanello, only a freshman. If you saw him on the basketball court, you know why he's out here on the lacrosse field. An excellent athlete. Little two-man game with Waxer and Accardo.
16 seconds difference. Game clock to shot clock. Lefty shot from Azevedo won't work.
Azevedo with a left-handed bounce shot. Ciro was able to track it right into his kick. We're under a minute to go in the half.
And Ciro's done a nice job here. I mean, he's kind of had an onslaught here in the second quarter, but he's made all the saves that he's supposed to make. Great pass by Ciro.
Ciro with a fantastic pass right there.
Weber on the far side, still with possession. Turns and fires. That shot got knocked away.
Yeah, Schmidt with the shot there on the wraparound, and we're going to get a timeout by Mepham.
Just one. Mepham's got a timeout.
33 seconds left in the half.
Here in the first half.
While we've got a minute here, I want to talk about our sponsor, Orland and Cohen. They've been sponsoring us for several years. They do a great job. We're very appreciative of their help as a sponsor. They have over 15 locations in Suffolk and Nassau. I know a guy like you's never heard, Tom. You're a tough guy, but if you ever are, visit one of their offices in Nassau or in Suffolk, and believe me, they'll take good care of you.
Mike, I have 5 kids. I've visited Orland and Cohen more than a few times. We got x-rays all over Orland and Cohen.
Might as well get on the family plan.
Yeah, oh,
next
well,
time you
big
can.
time, big time. But in all seriousness, my 2 older boys who played college lacrosse both spent time in Orland and Cohen during their college careers dealing with injuries and got them, Orland and Cohen got them back on the field. They really do a great job. I go there. I have a former Syosset High School student, Dr. Kroshak, is right here in the Woodbury office, the Garden City office. He takes care of me and my old knees. They really do a great job.
And once again, we appreciate their help, not just this whole school year, but for the past several years. They've been sponsoring us, so can't thank them enough.
Yeah, and you get this timeout by Mepham, and we talked about this before. This is a timeout that is almost like practice for the playoffs, right? 30 seconds on the clock. Could be a quarter, could be a half, could be the end of the game. So you want to come out of here and execute. And they'll start it with O'Rourke, who's a really good decision maker. I think you'll see it end up probably in Heller's stick, the midi headed to UMass.
O'Rourke brings it on the move to his right, now back to his left. Sends it up top. Here's a shot. Save Weisenfeld.
Yeah, Lebrano with a pretty good look there, hands free. Weisenfeld has done a really good job. 5 seconds here.
Let's see if they can get anything going. Ciro has it, long clear. That's the end of the half. So our score after one half of play, Syosset 8, Mepham 2. We're going to take a quick step away. We'll be back with some halftime coverage right after this on the Orland and Cohen Game of the Week, brought to you by T&D Sports Video. All right.
Big thing with the
appreciate it, you know? We got 3 minutes. No, they're both fine, but you can have it. There's yours back right there. Mine the last time. Mine the last time.
What's up, man? How you doing?
One more time. Ostrich. Ostrich. I posted it a couple times. Ostrich, yeah.
You're on YouTube. What? Oh, YouTube. Yeah, but I think you probably have to put scores from it.
Here's 8. Weisenfeld 10, CLF 5.
Halftime here in Syosset. The score, Syosset 8, Mepham 2. Mike Trezor, Tom Rooney. Tom, let's take a look at the way the first half unfolded in the scoring summary.
Yeah, we had a little back and forth in the first quarter. Started off with Zwiegbaum from Mepham. Then we went Rosenfeld, and then we went back to Mepham with Walitis. And the first quarter finished with Beekman and a 2-2 score, and we kind of felt like we got a pretty good game here, and then Syosset woke up.
In the second quarter, they reeled off 6 in a row. It was Turner, Accardo with 2 in a row, and then Waxer with 2 in a row. Finally, Birch got in the act late in the quarter. So it is 8-2. In terms of the goalies, Weisenfeld, 10 saves in that first half. He was really, really big. And Ciro with 5, but a couple really, really nice ones for him.
Yeah, I really think both goalies played well. Weisenfeld with 10 saves, saw a lot of shots, was really on it. Ciro with some really dynamic saves. A lot of shots right on top of him that, he's not going to save, but I really thought he showed some great athleticism. A good game, a good back-and-forth game. Syosset kind of, asserted their will there in the middle of the field in the second quarter. And their attack woke up with Waxer and Accardo both tallying 2 goals in that second quarter.
Yeah, you could see Waxer actually getting his feet under him and getting more confident about taking those shots and not hesitating, not indecisive at all.
Yeah, we talked about him in the opening. He's a very good athlete, a big righty with speed, and we saw both of those things. We saw the speed getting under for a goal, and then we saw the big right-handed shot for a goal.
Azevedo's going to take the face-off this time. And he is working against Kehoe.
Yeah, nice job by Acevedo there. Only a freshman. Older brother Owen Acevedo was the face-off guy here the last few years, so Matt Acevedo continuing that tradition. Does a good job against Kehoe there to start the half.
So now Syosset is going to take a little time, try to be a little bit deliberate on each possession. It is Ostrager on the far side. Accardo with the spin move. Nice dish in front to Turner. There's a save by Ciro.
What a save by Ciro right there. Really good opening sequence for the offense there, Syosset.
Syosset gets it back and is going to keep as it's chased down by Accardo.
Yeah, it looks like we got a deflection off of Mepham's stick. Yeah, Ciro with the great save. I think he just rushed the outlet a little bit there. Thought he had somebody breaking out. Wasn't able to connect.
Ostrager back the other way. Lefty shot, and he scores.
Yeah, Ostrager, the recent offensive midi, went from being their starting LSM at the beginning of the year, probably most of this year as the starting LSM. They turned him into an offensive midi here over the last couple of weeks, and you see he's just a big, thick, athletic kid. He's a tough cover. He's tough to push off of his spot, and he rolls back to his left hand for a goal.
First goal of the night for him. Waxer has 2, Accardo 2. Kehoe, meanwhile, wins another faceoff but loses the ball from behind. Saves Ciro.
Another good save by Ciro. Kehoe won that faceoff, but was not able to clear it. Nice job by Ciro there, and good clear from Mepham.
Turn and fire. That shot goes high over the crossbar.
Cole Casanova comes up with the ground ball. Heller had that shot. It was a pretty good look right there. And you can see right now the Syosset rolling out their second middies. You got Beekman, Antonacci coming on here at the top of the screen. Acevedo. When you're able to run 2 midi lines out and kind of wear the defense down, it becomes a long game. They've done this 2-man game before. Mepham defends it better this time.
On the far side is Antonacci, trying to get himself into the act. Birch as well.
Yeah, Waxer here, he loves these high, long dodges where he can use his speed.
There's one looking for help in the middle. Nice dish in the middle, but good D. Penalty flag coming in late. Boy, that's a rough call there, Tom.
Yeah. Listen, I think they're a little closer to the action than we are. I did not think it was to the head, but they believe it was, so we're going to get a look at the man-up unit from Syosset.
Schmidt with the penalty for Mepham.
So you got Nick Turner at the top of the rotation.
Last time it took Syosset less than 5 seconds to score on the man up. Let's see if they take a little more time this time.
Yeah, you got Waxer here now at the top. This is their basic set. Look for Accardo on one of the pipes here.
Turner to Waxer. Fires and scores.
And that's the big overhand righty hammer that Waxer has in his arsenal from the top of that man up. Really hard for a goalie. Just so much cage to shoot at. And that's a hat trick for Waxer.
Waxer with the hat trick, but nobody willing to throw those hats onto the field.
Nah.
The parents in the stands need them.
Yeah, too much on and off rain here.
Cleary to this side to Beekman. Beekman on the move to his right. Stops and waits for help from Acevedo, who's now on.
Yeah, back with Antonacci, Beekman, Acevedo. They played well in their time here. Good pickup by Antonacci.
8 minutes to go in the third. Syosset now comfortably on top, 10-2. Turn and fire.
Good save by Ciro there. Accardo able to get top side. And Ciro with another save.
Under 8 minutes to go in the third.
Ciro with 8 saves on the evening.
Little big, little behind. Set that pick for Waxer.
Waxer scores.
Yeah, nice job by Syosset setting up the big little off the end line. And not only does Waxer get a short stick switching on him, but he uses the short stick as a screen. Syro really has no shot at that. For Waxer, it's his fourth, Mike.
So Mepham came in here again, hyped up after the big win last night over MacArthur by a score of 8-6. Seemed fired up at the beginning, but they seem to have lost the edge as plays continued here.
Yeah, you may be running into a little bit of tired legs on some of the Mepham guys, but you won't see these guys quit. Coach Walsh and his staff have done a good job with this Mepham team, and they were coming in, probably a little bit of an underdog, playing up to a power conference team, and they're going to just try to finish this game out with a lot of small moment plays, right? Just keep making plays that we could build on and stay positive about.
Waxer looking for space, dumps it off to Azevedo. Ball loose in front. Near takeaway by Syosset, but there's a short clear by Syro.
Yeah, and that's Campero on the clear. Good athlete, great job there. They needed that, running it out.
Set up with 6:43 to go in the third.
Now Owen Heller and the first middies, Schmidt and Lebrano, are going to roll out. And like I said earlier, Mike, Mepham wants positive plays. The likelihood of coming back from 11-2, it's not high, so let's build on some good positive plays and take that into the playoffs.
Season finale for Mepham. They'll start the playoffs on the 20th. Syosset on the 22nd. Lubrano sends it 2X.
Nice play by James Romanello. The freshman is really athletic.
He's off and running.
Nice dish in front. Shot goes wide.
Noah Birch.
Yeah, great clear by Romanello. He gets the ground ball, gets it up and out, able to get it to Birch, just couldn't convert. Syosset here back with their first middies. Ostrager, Turner, Rosenfeld.
Ostrager puts it in.
Evan Ostrager.
Yeah, I mentioned before, Ostrager just great size and strength, and he kind of muscles his way down the alley there for his right hand and a good overhand shot.
5:28 to go in the third.
This doesn't happen a lot, Mike. You take a guy who is with a long pole, he played long pole all last year and the year before as a starter, right? He's been a 4-year varsity guy, and then you put a short stick in his hand and he's able to be this successful.
So season finale for Mepham. As we mentioned, Syosset will take on Massapequa right here on Friday evening, 5 p.m. start that evening.
Yeah, in a game that very well could be a preview of a playoff game. So, interesting late season matchup. I'm sure they'll be feeling good after playing well here in this game, and that's why you schedule games like this at the end of the year to kind of get yourself right.
Waxer gets dumped on a nice hit, and we've got a penalty flag flying.
Yeah, so we got a flag down on Mepham 22. That's Jack Weber, the Penn State commit. You get a little sense of his strength as he dumped Waxer on the ground. Maybe a little bit of a frustration foul there, Mike, right? Chasing Brody Waxer around all game, and, Waxer's getting picks, and he's getting underneath them, and, getting his hands free, and Weber had a shot at him, and he didn't pass it up.
So Syosset man up. Turner, Waxer.
They're still in the shot.
Far side Rosenfeld.
Last time it was Waxer from the point with a good step down.
Waxer shot. Save, Zero. Rebound. That shot's no good.
Zero with a couple of great saves right there.
4:10 to go in the third.
And Mepham with the turnover. Syosset's got numbers.
Waxer shot goes wide.
You know, and it's you're not going to look at this game and say, oh, the Mepham goalie played well when you see the scoreboard. But the reality is Vinny Ciro has played very well here today, Mike.
Sophomore. His coach talked to me about his athleticism on the phone.
You see him bouncing around in the cage.
Another save by Ciro, and it goes off his stick and in.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Ciro. He's got to relax, keep composure, and looks like they're going to pull him. Trying to just keep his head in the game there. They're going to go with the senior, Nicholas Lemus. Get a good look at Nick Turner going down the alley, showing his left hand.
Keogh's been there all night. He's still in there working against Cleary.
Let's go, boys.
Yeah, Keogh's done a nice job. He's reason why he's a Division I committed to Iona. New Division I program. Under Coach Sherman, they've done a nice job. Good pickup for them, getting Keogh, a big body with a lot of training under his belt. He's got a lot of exits and understands the position really well.
Ball pops up in the air as it nears the sideline.
Good job by Schmidt staying with it there.
Wallitis was noisy early, been quiet since.
I think Syosset has identified Wallitis as a major threat, right, for Mepham, and they've gone to him early and slid to make it difficult on him.
2:40 left in the game. Mepham is going to keep, I should say in the third quarter. Mepham is going to keep the ball. Good look in front, but Lubrano couldn't handle it. Shot clock violation. Syosset gets it back.
Yeah, really good look by Heller there. Unfortunately, just not handled cleanly, and Syosset's defense has really settled in after that first quarter.
2.5 to go in the third. Waxer backs it out to the 40. Azevedo on the far side. Now up top, Waxer, two-man game. Antonacci's on, gets the ball. Antonacci looking on cork one, he's doubled. Has to give it up at X. Back up top to Waxer for a reset. Gets a pick in the alley. Low shot goes wide.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Mepham ball there. No backup.
Minute and a half left in the third.
$1:20 to go in the third.
Nice look inside. Good defense. Here's a shot. That goes wide.
Good look there. Wallitis with a good look. And now Mepham with a full shot clock, about a minute to go.
15-second difference. Game clock to shot clock.
Here's Heller in the middle of the field. Good ball movement right here from Mepham.
Walitis up top. Feldman, or I should say Friedman, comes out to guard him. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Good job, Josh.
Yeah, tough angle there for Heller. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Enough time for Walitis if he can get under this defender.
Nice dish, a shot, and it does count. It was Heller at the buzzer, at the shot clock buzzer.
Walitis does a really nice job here coming out of his roll dodge with his head up. Heller pops off the crease and is able to finish that. And I talked earlier, if you're Mepham trying to build on these moments, everything has got to be positive all the way through into the playoffs, right? And you almost forget about the scoreboard, Mike, and you take a play like that. That could be the end of a shot clock, in a playoff game, and now they know they can execute. So good job by Mepham right there.
13-3, Syosset on top. Down to just 15 seconds left in the quarter.
Yeah, short time.
Loose at midfield. Cleary is after it, but they're going to call a push on him and give him the Mepham. Long shot at the buzzer. A clear back the other way. And that's the end of the third. Score at the 3/4 of play. It is Syosset 13 and Mepham 3. So we had a little bit of rough weather early in the evening, but it has cleared up a little bit. We may even get the Met game in tonight.
Yeah.
And here, it seemed like Mepham was up to the task early, and in that second quarter, Syosset just started pulling away. They started looking for their shots, and they got guys like Accardo and Waxer in the mix, and those guys really found their legs under them.
Yeah, you mentioned it was senior day here, and the senior day festivities, and relatives and parents on the field, and Syosset certainly didn't start the game the way they would have liked, but in the second quarter you saw the guys that they need to win assert themselves, guys like Waxer and Accardo, and that has continued through the third quarter. Syosset is a very balanced team, able to roll out two very good midi lines. The first midi line is the senior group. The second midi line is two sophomores and a freshman, but that group has been very effective. Yes, it is smart. And both of those midi lines have played well. I think the attack group, especially Waxer and Accardo, has played very well. And Weisenfeld has played very well. He's over 10 saves. He's handled himself well in the clearing game. And the defense without Will Cawley has played well. Romanello is a menace in the middle of the field, just an excellent athlete. He's played a lot of short stick. D-midi this year. We see him with a pole today. So Syosset using this as a tune-up, getting exactly what they want out of this game so far. And I think you'll see them able to really get the other guys, the guys on the bench, into the game and spread the wealth.
Fourth quarter, just about set to get underway. Now it is underway. Cleary wins the face-off and fires. It goes wide.
I tell you, Cleary is tough at the X. He is very, very quick. Lemus with a piece of that shot by Cleary, and we do have other guys in the game right now, and they're gonna test you here, Mike. Looking at the roster, so we still got Ostrager.
Ostrager with possession on the near side. I'm also hoping to get his name right before this game is over. Turner with his spin move. We know who he is.
Yeah, Turner with a couple goals here today. One right, one left.
Rosenfeld still in there at attack.
That's Nick Stragalis there running some midi. And we got Birch still in at lefty attack.
Birch gets his own rebound and sends it out to Ostrager. Shot clock violation right there.
Yeah, a little questioning of whether or not the goalie had made a save there. The official closest said no, so it's going to be Mepham ball.
11 minutes to go in the game. Mepham would love to get a couple more on the board just to come away feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is an area right here that hasn't been a strength, this clearing game. So you want to clear the ball, and there's another one. And good ground ball there by Mallon.
Jeremy Mallon.
Mallon forces the issue. Tries to keep it in, and he does with Romanello. Romanello has it pocket picked by Heller.
Yeah, loose ball pushed by Heller before he was able to gather that ball, so it stays Syosset. Get another look at this Syosset offense. Looks like you got Dylan Sakarian inside on the crease. Nick Stragalis also playing attack with this second line. Antonacci, Beekman, and Acevedo.
Under 10 minutes to go in the game. Syosset up by double digits.
That was Heller on the takeaway. Good job by him.
Back the other way is Gampero. Shot in front. Weisenfeld lays out.
Gets right in front of it. Josh Weisenfeld
Yeah,
stole it.
Weisenfeld somehow saved that. Fell on the ball. I like that by Gampero. He got under, take a shot.
10 minutes to go.
Nice clear there for Cole Casanova.
Birch. Couple moves behind the cage.
Yeah, good pressure out there by Weber.
Beekman on the near side. Good D on him.
Yep. And another takeaway. That was Genovese on the takeaway there. Long pass. Uh-oh.
Out of his cage is Weisenfeld to scoop that one. And he has his pocket picked by Mepham.
We got nobody in the cage right now. Let's see if Willitis can get a shot off.
Willitis, a couple spins, but he can't get it uncorked. Has to give it off to Green.
A little wild sequence there, Mike. We had Weisenfeld up at the 40-yard line get taken down. Mepham unable to hit the open net.
I thought we fast-forwarded to football season.
Yeah. Yeah, Lemus tried to throw that Hail Mary down the middle of the field.
Lubrano. Good ball movement inside.
Great ball movement. And that was a really nice job by the Mepham offense. That was Zweigbaum with the shot. He just hit the post. Great look inside by Heller. And I love the fact that Mepham is still playing good team offense. We got a timeout, Syosset.
I wanted to ask you, Tom, what a thrill it is for kids to win a playoff game and then be able to get to the second round and get to Hofstra, be able to play on a college field, knowing that you've got everybody in your town coming down, all your friends, your classmates, your relatives. Talk about what a thrill it is for those kids to get to that college field and know that the whole town is behind them when they come.
Yeah, if you play high school lacrosse in Nassau County, the goal is to get to Hofstra, right? It's not only where the playoffs are held, but it's kind of the mecca. You get this Saturday will be the NCAA quarterfinals there. They host that every year. Tomorrow you have the Chaminade St. Anthony's championship game at Hofstra. It really is the place to be when it comes to lacrosse. And listen, it's a cool venue, right? It's a stadium. It's got the whole field, the big scoreboard, everything. So for both of these programs, and the regular season is great, but the end result is you want to get to Hofstra, right? You want to get a chance to play in that big stadium, make it to the Final Four. It's a really special feeling. It's something that if you get there, kids don't forget it.
And what about for the coaches? Again, it's harder for them to get as excited as a kid is going to get, but it's got to be a thrill for them too.
Yeah, I think it's a sense of accomplishment for coaches that you've gotten your team to the semifinals. You're the last four standing in your conference, so it's more on that end. I can tell you from standing there, it is cool, right? I mean, you're coaching in front of a couple thousand people, and like you said, the towns come out in force to support the high schools. It's definitely an awesome setting and a great environment.
Accardo with possession on the far side. Now sends it behind to Birch. There's a rocket shot, and there's a score. Waxer again.
Yeah, I like the look by Birch. Birch received that pass head up all the way. And we talked about Waxer earlier being in the middle of the field where he could pick his spots, and that's exactly what he did, hitting the top left corner. That's 5 on the day for Waxer.
6:40 left in the fourth.
Hold that shot, Christian. Hold that shot.
Waxer, you see him on the sideline with his teammates all around him. They know he's the man. They know this team is going to go as far as he's going to take them this year.
Yeah, right now, he's the go-to guy on offense, and I think if you talk to the coaching staff at Syosset, they would say, we need more guys to step up, as the playoffs come. But it's nice to have a guy when you come out of a timeout that can give you a great opportunity to score.
Mepham again looking for answers on the offensive end.
Yeah, is this Connor O'Rourke? Connor O'Rourke with the ball, I believe.
As I mentioned, 23 goals, 20 assists for him on the season. So he is a guy who does look to assist as well as to score himself.
Yeah, Mepham has emptied the bench here. They're playing a lot of guys, which is great to see. Get everybody a chance to get on the field.
5:39 left in the game.
Nice job by the Mepham defense there, keeping that in, but a shot clock violation.
Syosset with a full 60 right here. They'll look to take some clock here.
Yeah, you see number 2, Asa Jung here with the ball. Senior getting a chance to get on the field here. These are those opportunities that your classmates are going to try to get you the ball in a good spot and let you score.
Ostriger in the middle of the field.
Pushing you hard, stay.
Nice dish in front, but he couldn't find his teammate on that play.
Yeah, that was Dylan Sakarian on the crease, just out of his reach. The sophomore got a bright future here at Syosset.
Just getting back to that point you were making earlier, Tom, about rolling out the second line of sophomores and juniors. This way those guys get the experience of playing together going into next season and the one after as well.
Yeah, whenever you get into games like this, it almost makes you think about, what is next year going to look like? How do I want to mix and match some of these guys and get some experience for some of the younger guys? And that was a nice clear right there by Lemus in the cage, finding Schmidt. Mepham still fighting hard.
Shot came from Green. It went wide. 3.5 left in the game. Syosset 2 TDs and Mepham a field goal.
We got Max Glomboski in cage now for Syosset. So we talked about this early on, Mike. Syosset using this game as a little bit of a tune-up, get themselves ready for the playoffs. I guess you could say get themselves ready for Friday's matchup with Massapequa. You can only practice against yourself so much, right? This is a chance to get out and get with another team. And, Mepham has played well this year, and, they went 8-7 with Farmingdale, and obviously played very well in their conference. So really a good, complete team effort by Syosset here this afternoon.
Antonacci with the one-handed shot right there.
2:45 to go.
Yeah, this is Nicholas Stragalis, the big 6'4" righty attackman here for Syosset, the junior.
Down to 2.5 left in the game. So as we mentioned, playoffs for the small schools start on the 20th. For the Power League, they start on the 22nd. Mepham's final contest of the regular season, so they'll get a nice rest before they start the playoffs on the 20th. And for Syosset, as we mentioned a couple times, they will take on Massapequa on Friday night. That game, not a lot attached to it in terms of playoff positioning, but again, a good tune-up for them.
Yeah, I think anytime Syosset and Massapequa get together, no one really cares too much about records or what's on the line other than who wins that game, and big rivals have been for a long time. I think that one will be a great battle here at Syosset.
Kudos to these parents who have stuck around in the stands on not an extremely pleasant weather evening. Also, great job by our cameramen, Christian and Dave, with a yeoman's job here this evening.
Yeah, they were challenged early with a lot of rain, right? The weather never makes it easy to be a cameraman.
Looking for the feed in front. It goes off the stick. And there's a late score.
So we got to find
42, Jesse Boxstein.
Jesse Boxstein with the goal. Looks like that's the first of his career. Very excited sideline right there for Jesse Boxstein.
And as you mentioned, late in the game on those one-sided games, your teammates try to get it to you, try to get you on the board there, and they did for that one.
Yeah, that's the cool part about high school athletics. You're so close with your teammates, right? And they get so excited for you, they could care less about the score. Jesse Boxstein gets a goal, and they are so amped up on that Syosset sideline for him.
Down to a minute left in the game. Syosset up by a dozen.
Last minute.
and both you guys just towel when you come to the start. Just go, and then we're gonna
Syosset here just getting their guys on.
Azevedo holds, wait for Antonacci to get on.
And if I'm Mepham, I take away a couple of things from this. Number one, there's some things we got to work on, right? Then that's okay. You're a work in progress. But I really like the play of Vinny Ciro in goal. I think that's a huge positive that they can draw from this. And, you know, you keep grinding, you keep working, you get yourself ready for the playoffs.
I had Ciro down for 10 saves, probably had more than that, and I had Weisenfeld down for 11. That's the end of the game, our final score. Syosset 15, Mepham 3. Lacrosse here on T&D Sports is brought to you by Orland and Cohen with over 15 locations in Suffolk and Nassau. Want to thank the guys on our crew. Our producer director is numero uno, Tommy Bruno. Our cameraman, Dave, Camera One Stempel, and the Kanga, Christian Rue. For everyone here on our entire T&D Sports crew, including my partner, Tom Rooney, this is Mike Trezor thanking you for watching. We will see you in a couple days with some playoff action.